So till the last class, we have gathered lot of different type of information regarding writing programs. We have seen various data types. We have seen how a function works and many more. Today we will start. Regarding the declaration of a variable, we have seen that how we can declare a variable, what are the different data types we have, what is the meaning of them, and all. But still, some more information is left to gather regarding the variable declaration. So we will start with that part first, and technically that is what we call storage class. Okay. So what is a storage class? The storage class actually define what is the place of the memory where your variable is going to be stored. If I want to define it in a very simple, straightforward way, we can say that storage class defines a specific memory or specific part of the memory where the variable that a programmer is declaring within a program, when the program will run, the variable has to be stored, the value has to be stored some memory location. For example, you are writing int a equal to 10, and that value 10 should get stored somewhere in memory location. As a programmer, we map that particular memory address with a variable name a. Now this mapping between the memory address and the variable is doing by the compiler. We are not bothered about the exact memory address. We work with variables. We say if we want to print the content of a, means content of the memory location where 10 is stored, we don't directly use the memory address of that. Instead we use variable name a. Now the mapping between variable name and the memory address is done by the compiler. But still one thing is left, that is exactly in which space it will be declared, and depends on that some behavior, behavior of the variable depends. So you see, that means regarding declaration of a variable, there is two things. One is data type of the variable that defines the what type of value that you are going to store in the variable, and another thing is storage class of the variable that defines where the variable is going to be stored. So here it is written that to assume its storage class as default, that is automatic. So maybe this particular statement is not clear right now, it will be clear very soon. So let's see. So these are actually, you can say in a brief way, you can say that these are some purpose of declaring the storage class. Like we have different memory location in our computer system. For example, your hard disk is a memory, your RAM is also a memory, your some high speed register present within the processor, that is also memory. So naturally question will come that in which particular memory your variable is going to be stored and how you can fix that, and that is what you can do by declaring the exact storage class of that variable. So what are the 4 points that is written over here? Storage places of variable, that is memory or CPU register, but memory is also some hierarchy, so we'll come to that part later. Second point is that initial value of the variable. Yes, this is very important, because when you are declaring a variable, generally when you say that when we generally till last day or maybe till now, we know that if we declare a variable within a program, suppose I'm writing int x, and then if I print the value of the x, you will get some arbitrary value, and that is technically we call garbage value, right? Now Is it true for declaration in any way? I mean, why this is coming in garbage? Because when we are declaring a variable in this way, actually we are by default declaring its storage class. So that I will come later. And according to the, you know, the feature of that storage class, the initial value can be anything. But the same variable, if you declare with some different storage class, you will find out maybe different initial value. For example, in some cases it is 0. So we will see this very soon. Third point is scope of the variable, that is where the variable is accessed. We all know. Already we have seen, we have discussed about the scope of a variable in my previous classes. So if you still have any doubt, you can check my YouTube video. Now, this scope of a variable obviously defines with respect to the declaration part, where in exactly in which location the variable you have declared, that we have seen. But other than this, the storage class is also a very important point, because based on the storage class there are some limitation or some facility we will get for some specific variables. And the fourth point, which is very vital, that is lifetime of a variable. What is lifetime? Always remember that when we declare a variable, question is that how much time the variable will be active. Active in the sense, for example, let's take a very simple scenario. I've written a code. I've written a main function. Within main function, say I have some variable declaration and some lines here, and then I have called a function fun, and maybe many more lines are there, and my program ends. And then if we define the fun function can be something like this: void fun, and here we have variable x and y, and maybe many more lines are there. I'm not interested. Now why I'm drawing this? Because we all know that this particular main function and void fun function must be stored, must have some memory, must occupy some memory at the time of execution, right? And now what happens? Since this function has not started yet until it is called, remember, the memory space of the function fun will not get allocated until the function fun will get called. Since we all know that programs start executing from the main function. That means somehow someone is there who is calling this main function first. That's why we can say that within a memory space, a small memory will be allocated for the main function. This is for main. And there will be a variable, that's why it will be allocated. The memory will be allocated for the variable a. And when this particular statement will get executed, at that time it will call some function, and at that point of time the memory space for function fun will get allocated, and naturally the memory for variable x and y will be allocated at the same time, because x and y are the variable of the fun function. Fine. Now question is that what is the time, up to how much time this x and y will get active in the sense the memory address where you have, which is basically somehow occupied because of this declaration, because of the execution of function fun. This is a function fun. Up to how much time this memory will get occupied? Always remember, as like since function fun will only allocate the will only get the memory when it is called, and thus in the similar way you can say that when the function fun returns back, the control returns back from function fun to main, then generally the memory for the function fun vanished. No, actually not vanished, you can say deallocated. Okay, so one is allocation and another thing is deallocation. Allocation means memory will be occupied because of some variable for some variables present in within the function, and deallocation means the memory that was basically occupied will become free, so that that memory address can be used further for some other functions or maybe other variables in future. And this is what we call lifetime. So lifetime of the variable x, I can say from this example that lifetime of the variable x and y exist only at the time of execution of the function fun, not before that, even not after that. Now this lifetime is not, this logic that I have said here is not actually fixed for all the storage classes. For some storage classes, lifetime, the variables that you have declared remain in spite of return the function to the main. So we will see it very soon. Anyway, so these are actually 4 different storage class that we have in our C language: automatic storage class, register storage class, static and external storage class. This automatic storage class is a default storage class. Default storage class means if you don't define any storage class at the time of declaring any variable, the compiler assumes that the variable has a automatic storage class, and according to the feature of the automatic storage class, the variable behaves. For example, so let's come back to the storage class one by one. So first of all, how a storage class is declared? We declare storage class in this way. By the way, this automatic storage class has the keyword for the automatic storage class is auto. The keyword for register storage class is register. Static storage class is static. And external storage class is extern. Okay, so let's come one by one. So you see, this is how we can declare a storage class, where the first one is the storage class, second the variable name. So up to this part we already know, and this is the part we have just seen in the today's class, right? Now since auto is basically default, that's why you have not written tilde. But actually when you have declared your variable in this way, int a comma b or like that, not only int, maybe for char, maybe for other data types, actually you have declared storage class like auto, something like this. So let's see what are the features for the automatic storage class. These are the 4 important parameters that actually differentiate between all different storage classes. One is storage, that means where it will get stored, what is the initial value, okay, what is the scope of the visibility, scope or visibility. It's not, the spelling is, there is a spelling mistake, so you can, I hope you can easily understand. So it's visibility, scope or visibility, and the lifetime. So we will compare the different storage classes with respect to these 4 parameters, and these 4 parameters, some parameters are same for some storage class, some are different. So let's start one by one. So the storage class for the storage area for automatic storage class variables are memory. Memory means your RAM. Okay. And initial value is the garbage value, and that is why, or you can say unpredictable value. And this is the reason actually, you have seen that when you declare a variable like int comma a, and then if you print that, you get a garbage value because the variable was in automatic storage class by default. Then scope. Scope is local in the block or the function in which it is declared. The same thing actually we have seen when we discussed about the scope. So basically the scope concept of scope that we have discussed, or the ability of ability of a variable in a particular scope that we have declared is actually based on the automatic storage class we have declared, we have discussed. And same thing for lifetime also, it retains its value till in the block in which it is declared. So that means I can say, for example, when you have written, I told you also this type of example. For example, I have written a code like main, within bracket I have written say int a, and within another bracket I have written int b equal to 10, and then if you write print f b, I told you that it will produce error, right? Why? The reason is that b is declared here. Now why you will get error? Because of the scope that we have seen, right? Now same thing can be applied here also. Not only scope, there is one more parameter, lifetime is also there, and you see the lifetime of the variable will be bounded within this block only because it is declared within this block, and that is what it retains. It retains its value till it is in the block in which it is declared. So b is declared within this block, and that's why the lifetime of b you can consider within this block only, not outside the block. But lifetime of a will be outside this inner block because lifetime a was declared within this block, larger block. So a lifetime of variable will be within this large block, as simple as that. Okay. So now, so this is a very simple example. Over here that is given for our automatic storage class. So now we will go for the next storage class. I'm sorry, this is another example of the automatic storage class using function. You see, this is what actually we have actually generally seen in case of normal example. For example, we have a main function, and this particular function is defined, product defined over here. And what is the function? Function is actually declaring an integer variable I0, then it's printing its value, then I is incremented by 1, right? Then CLR is here, and then you see the function is called 3 times. Now if I ask you what is the result, you see with respect to the if you try to realize it from a memory point of view, let's draw the situation like so we have a situation like, let's draw it here, that we have a memory for the main function, right? And this, what happened when this particular function is calling, this main is calling the function ck, and at that time the memory for the ck will get occupied, so there will be a value, memory location will be created for the value I, whose value will be initialized by 0. Then it will print the value 0, obviously print the value of I, that means 0 is printed. and then it's incremented by 1. So that means I will become, now I will become 1. And then what happens? Nothing is written here. That means the control of the ck function should return back to the main again. And at the time of returning, what we know? That this entire memory space become free. It's deallocated. So if it is deallocated, if the memory for the function is deallocated, naturally there will be no existence for the memory of the variable I. Right? So whatever updation that we have seen in variable I will get lost. Totally lost. So it will become free. Nothing is there. Like this. And then what will happen? Then next time, because of this calling, again this ck will get called. And again a new memory location will be occupied. Naturally again a new, fresh memory location for I will be created. So since this memory location is fresh, naturally the value of I will again initialize by 0. So if you print the value of I, then you will get 0 again. And then 0 will become 1. And again when it will return back, then the entire memory will become free. And again the new value of I will get vanished. So that is why you see as many times you call this variable does not matter, it will always produce 0 output. Does not, this particular line, although this particular line is executing successfully, but the result of this line is not affecting the output. And this is happens because the storage class of the variable I is automatic. That is why its lifetime is within the block only, over here in the block only. So when the block vanishes, naturally the lifetime, that means the variable I also dies. That's why when the new memory location is created, again a new value of I is created, something like this. So this is because of the automatic, and this is actually a feature of automatic storage class that we generally habituated. We are habituated with this. Now other than this, what are present? Say register storage class, which has a characteristic something like this. You see, like storage is CPU register. That's why the name is register storage class. And CPU registers are actually very high speed register, you know. And that's why this particular storage class is used for storing those particular variables which will be very frequently updated with a very high speed it requires. For example, writing running program in some say supercomputer, or maybe very fast computers, not in computer that is present in our home. In those computers, if we try to imagine that a very strong program is running, definitely some variables may be there which has to frequently update with very high speed. That's why it will be better always to keep those variables within CPU register, not in RAM, because RAM is much slower than CPU registers. So naturally, if you keep the variable within very high speed register, your updation will become also very high speed. So generally in normal daily life, this particular storage class doesn't have any use from our perspective, but it is useful from some high-end perspective. Okay. Anyway, so the other parameters are, according to the other parameters, the initial value is also garbage value, just like automatic storage class. The scope of the visibility is again local to the block in which it is declared. And the lifetime is also same. It retains its value until it remain in the block. The only difference and the most important difference is the storage area. In case of automatic, it was in RAM, and in case of storage class, in case of the register storage class, it is within the CPU register. That is the difference. And this is some program, but you cannot realize exact difference if you declare a variable with normal automatic storage class or register storage class, because normally computer runs in picoseconds, so it's not possible to realize exactly that how much faster execution you are getting. Maybe you will realize it if the program runs, say, I mean, not infinite, but I can say that, say, a very, very large value. For example, a loop is running, say, maybe more than lakh more. I mean, the number of time that a loop is executing more than lakh. So maybe at that point of time, after running that loop with 1 lakh time, maybe you will get some difference with respect to nanosecond if you declare the loop variable in normal storage, I mean automatic storage class, and another loop variable in register storage class. But generally, it's very difficult to realize from our point of view, because we are very, very slow than computer. Our acceptance capability is very, very slower than computer. Now this static storage class is very vital, because it has a lot of difference in these 4 parameters. First of all, the storage is same as automatic. That means the storage is in RAM. But first of all, initial value is 0 here. That means if you declare a storage class as static, like something like this, it's already given here. You see, static int a, like this we declare. Since the storage class of a, so here what is defined, that data type of a is integer and storage class of a is static. That means initial value of a will become 0, and its scope or visibility will be local to the block in which it is declared. But lifetime is different. It retained its value between different function calls, and this is a very vital difference with respect to automatic storage class. So how you can realize the difference between scope and lifetime? Let's see. If we have a program like this, the same program I have here, but the only difference that in case of declaring variable I in the ck function, I have declared it as static int I. So what will happen, that since this I is static, that's why when the function will return, when the control will return from ck to main, as we have seen, I mean, what happens that we starting main, the execution will start from main. This ck will get called. At that time, this I will get allocated, and its 0 will get printed. Then it will be incremented by 1, and then what we know? We have seen that the control will return back from ck to main function. And generally we know that when the control returns back, then the entire memory for the function ck should be deallocated. So every memory should be vanished. But the variable, or not variable, the memory that is for the variable I will not get vanished, because the variable I have declared as a static variable. So that means everything will vanish, but variable will remain same. That means when the second time ck function will get called, this variable I will not reinitialized again like previous case. Rather, this particular declaration part will, you can assume in this way, like this particular declaration will get skipped. and this printf will get executed, where you will get a previously updated value of I, that is 1, and then on that value of I it will get updated to 2. Same thing again, function control will return back to main function, but this I will retain because you have declared I as static. So that means third time when CK will get called again, this will get skipped and you will get the previously updated value of I, that is 2, and that is why you will get this type of output. Now what is the difference with respect to scope over here? Scope is saying that local to the block in which it is declared. That mean you have declared I over here, but it does not mean you will use I over here. If you write printf %i within this main function, you will get error because scope of I is limited within this block only, but lifetime of the variable I is within this different function block. Okay, so now we can further move on to the external storage class, which is also very vital for writing very complex program. You can easily find that storage is same as automatic or static. Initial value is same also for like static, it's 0, but its scope is different, that is scope is global. Okay, that means if you declare an external variable as an external, it can be accessed anywhere in the program, not in a particular memory location, a particular block. And lifetime, it says that it retained its value throughout the whole program. So there is no problem of vanishing that particular variable when function call or something happen. So what is an example how we can use this external storage class? Let's see. Do one thing. So you see that within the external storage class here, what I have written this is a program. This is a program main function somewhere. I forgot to write this closing bracket. You can do this. Oh, sorry, I have a closing bracket here. Fine. So this is one program and this is another program. You see two different functions, actually not program, two different functions. Okay. Now what I have written? I have written extern int a equal to 10. External variable is declared in this way. Then here I have written int a equal to 5. You see, since the value a, this a is local to within the main block, more local, right? We know that the value which is more local will get the higher priority, right? So this a is more local than this external variable a. That's why when you will print the value of a, you will get 5. It's written 5. And then when ck is called, you see in this ck function, you see what does this a mean? This a means actually this external variable a. And that's why if you write a equal to a plus 10, it's printing 10 plus 10, that is 20. That's why it will print 20. And this is the difference. Now you realize it more with another example, like here. You see this is one program and this is another program. Totally different program, different file name. Remember. And here you see you have written a variable int x equal to 21. Here also int x equal to 21. Everything is there. Here int y I have used. Now suppose I want to use this y in the left program within the right program part, the same y. If I want to use the value of the y that I have declared in this left part program, to use this I have written a variable something like this, extern int y. over here in the right side. Okay, so that's why you see um just a minute. Okay, yes. You see, since y, you have basically uh, after declaring this y, you have not used this, and this y is normal integer. I mean normal storage class, because this y is a the y in the left program is in automatic storage class, but the y in the right program is in external storage class. That means it can take the value from in this side, and that's why you see um, when you are printing the value of x and y over here, you will get 21 for x, but you will get a garbage value for y because y is not initialized by any value. It is initialized, but over here, which will not be useful when you are printing the value. But in the right side, you see, we have this x and y, same thing. X is again 21, so 21 will be printed. And you see, in the right side, since this y is an external y, that's why it can take a value from this program whose value is 31, right? And that's why it will not print any garbage value because it is an external variable, so it's not an automatic storage class. Since it is external variable, it can take data from outside whose value is 31. So that's why it will print 21 and 31. The right, this is the difference. So in this way, you can actually think how the external storage class works. So this is all about four different type of storage classes that we have, and then we can, so with these four different storage class, depends on our requirement, we can proceed with any one of the storage class when we will write some program.